the project that's gotten the most headlines, I would say, that people outside of Jacksonville know about is Shad Khan, the stadium renovation, and the Shipyards. What is this project, what it represents, and why it's good for the city?
Yeah, I mean, Shad has been a huge asset for Jacksonville. He's obviously put a lot of money into Jacksonville and downtown over the years. All the renovations done to the stadium, from the scoreboards to the clubs to the practice facility to Daly's place. He's kicked in half of the capital, even though they're city-owned assets. So it's huge to have the Jags and Shad here. And so now, we have the oldest stadium in the country that has not been renovated, oldest NFL stadium in the country. And so it's time for us to do a renovation on our stadium. And the plan that the Jaguars have is phenomenal. And we're super excited. Right now, the Jaguars are already building the Four Seasons just south of the stadium. That is under construction right now, which is an over $300 million project, incredibly high-end food, beverage, hotel, spa, the river walk, riverfront activation, marina. That's going to be a huge asset for Jax and downtown. And then the stadium renovation and the development of the neighborhoods around that is really the next phase. Right now, the city's, negotiating that with the Jaguars, and we can't wait, very confident that that's going to come to fruition, and very excited to see what that does for those neighborhoods. And like we've been saying, these sort of large catalytic developments attract talent, attract jobs, attract investment, which raises median incomes and improves values and rents in the areas all around it. So we're excited.
Let's help people understand the progression of some of these projects and how they actually get to the point where dirt is being moved, and maybe let people know what's actually happening right now. Because I do think that if people are talking about future developments in their city and whatnot, it's very easy to put pictures up that look like this, but those projects may or may not ever happen. This is different, right? The dirt is moving. If we drove right there where the Four Seasons is going to be, you would see dirt moving and cranes and all that good stuff.
There's a slab, there's cranes. They literally have a concrete plant.
Yeah.
They have their own concrete plant.
It goes
outside. It's going.
It goes from like idea to proposal, and you can fill in all the gaps here, but we are actually at the point with not just as the money there, it's actually being spent.
It's under construction.
It's under construction. Yep. And this is a sign. There's $4 billion of active construction projects going on in downtown Jacksonville. I've done my research across other downtowns. I haven't found another downtown that has $4 billion of active construction going on right now. And this is little old sleepy old Jacksonville, right? So I just think it's good as we go through some of these projects, make sure people know that this isn't just an idea. This isn't a rendering. This is actually happening, which creates the urgency factor as far as being able to invest. Because right now it's this beautiful moment where even though we know what's going on, now you all know what's going on, there's a lot of people in Jacksonville who don't know what's going on. There's a lot of people outside Jacksonville who don't know what's going on. And so you have this opportunity to make wise investment decisions before you really see a big pop that we're expecting.
Alex, can you speak to, I believe that most people hear stadium and they think rich dude getting tax breaks to like fill his coffers. This one is different, right? The idea that there is the stadium deal, that's a public-private partnership that's happening there, but there's also the Shipyards and the Four Seasons, and the fact that Shad is already putting in a bunch of his own money around it to develop this area. Can you talk about the uniqueness of that when it comes to cities working together with NFL owners, and why that is something that is going to make this more feasible and better for the city itself?
Yeah, I think, Shad has always put in, always matched the city in their investment in these city-owned assets. So I think that idea, it's a rich guy getting handouts is just, it's not true. Like, they're investing real dollars, and there's not another person in Jacksonville that could invest the type of dollars into Jacksonville that Shad has. And I think, when you look at how NFL stadiums get built, for cities that are in the lower quartile in overall revenue and population, like Jacksonville is, the city or the municipality normally puts in 70+% of the dollars for the project. And what the Jaguars are proposing on this is a 50-50 deal. So it's a better deal than what you see other stadiums in cities like Jacksonville have gotten, which is great. Shad is willing to do that, willing to invest in the community. And then the other part about it is it's not just the stadium. Like what they're talking about is revitalizing the whole area around the stadium, bringing in food and beverage and entertainment and housing, and a lot of redevelopment to the East Side neighborhood, which is a historically underserved neighborhood just north of the Stadium District. The Jaguars have already given massive donations to, the historic East Side CDC. They've been working together for years. They're very invested in that community. And so it's really a commitment. The Jaguars are showing a commitment, not just to, hey, let's get a stadium deal done so we can make more money, but in a way that's going to be great for the city as a whole.
Can you talk to, so you're somebody that's involved with economic development, right? Can you talk to the idea that how having a Four Seasons hotel in the mix of all of that actually helps the recruiting a Fortune 500 CEO to like build a headquarters and having these like developments be like, and this is where your VPs get to live and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
it's huge. I mean, those sort of big name brands that everyone in the world knows. And it's kind of like having an NFL franchise does for Jacksonville. Like people hear Jacksonville, like, oh, they have an NFL franchise.
Mhm.
They must be of a certain quality to
Mhm.
have an NFL franchise. And I think having something like the Four Seasons just is another notch, on that post where it's, one of, if not the best hotel brand in the world. And so now, you have this really great high-end amenity, like you said, for your executives, for your friends, for whatever. So that's huge.
First 5-star hotel in downtown.
Yeah.
Listen, if I'm, we've, not to brag, but we've had a Fortune 500 CEO on the show before, right? Gary from FIS. And listen, if I'm out there trying to convince people to move here to work for me, and I'm doing the whining and dining, right? Like you guys have JWB's growing gangbusters, right? Like if you want access to talent, you want to bring world-class folks like you do here, you got to have a recruitment trip, right? Like, there's an inbound population here and you need somewhere for them to stay that you can be like, man, this is beautiful. You see the future here. You see all this stuff kind of happening, and being able to put them up at a Four Seasons to say, we're going to move you and your family and your finance department that is in Cleveland, and now they want to move to better weather, like all these different types of things. Like I see a direct tie to that type of activity, which is necessary.
100%.
100%. So that's number one. That's the first of 3 big dog projects coming that are going to change the city.